There's the music. That means it's time for Animal Talk. Some of the best doggone pet people on the planet here to help you with your pets no matter what the problem is. Animal Talk, animaltalkradio.com. We want to thank you for taking the time to join the show. Here's another best of. Remember, Animal Talk, not for the weak, and it is for entertainment purposes only. Medical advice and dog training. Always seek medical advice from your vet and seek out professional trainers in your area. Here we go.
Because we love you, and we're here to make your world animalologically safe and sound.
It's no longer we're here and you're there. Now we love you.
Don't you love Don't you love our listeners?
We're at stage 3 in the 9 levels of stalking.
Hey, you know, jeez.
Fact or fiction? You decide.
Brian, tell us how this works.
All right, we know that when it comes to animal stories, truth is indeed oftentimes stranger than fiction. We're going to read 3 stories, 2 of which are true that we pulled off the news wires. One has been fabricated by Dr. Brad Davis. It doesn't mean he's going to read that false story. Your job is to ferret out that false story and win prizes for your pet.
All right, why don't we start today with Dr. Brad Davis?
Okay, well, getting ready for taxes? Don't try this. Nobody likes to pay taxes, and many try to avoid them by tweaking the truth a little bit. Every year, the IRS compiles a list of tax frauds from the previous year as a warning to potential cheaters this year. The list from 2000 includes... let's do this one. The St. Paul, Minnesota woman was audited after her number of dependents changed from 1 to 13 in 1 year. At the audit, she said she was unaware she could not name her new aquarium fish as dependents, arguing they were so dependent they couldn't live without her. A man in Bangor, Maine, filled out 4 separate EZ tax forms, one for himself and one for each of his animals, and split his salary between them, hoping for a lower tax bracket. He was caught when computers noted 4 tax forms with the same social security number. And a Butte, Montana man claimed his 4-hour drive to get a new puppy was as a business expense, claiming he was meeting potential clients. The man is employed by the city of Butte as a sanitation worker.
There you go, Brian Donovan.
All right, story number 2 out of London. Horse racing is barely back after a 1-week suspension. Its premier event has been postponed indefinitely, and major international rugby matches are being called off. With an outbreak of foot and mouth illness leaving British... you know what? I copied this down after it was either written or I got it off the internet, and the last part of the sentences are chopped off. So I don't know what the hell it says at the end of these things. So what's a gambler to do? Well, at least the hamsters are running. In this nation of inveterate bettors, the wagering world is getting creative or maybe a little desperate. The outbreak of livestock ailment has quieted the action in the gaming parlors. And
You mean aiming arlers?
Yeah. That dot the streets of most British cities. One internet betting site is offering hamster races to keep bettors happy until the schedule of more well-known, I guess, sports returns to normal. We've been running hamsters in these little dragsters, said Ed Pownell, a spokesman for the online company Blue Square. You put an exercise wheel in the middle of a 10-inch long dragster as they run in the wheel, moving the thing forward. The hamsters race in a small studio in North London, and the action is broadcast live on the company's website. Blue Square has been taking between 300 and 350 bets for each contest, compared to several thousand for the average horse race, but Pownell said that about 2,000 people have logged on to view each race. Woo!
It's the new Read Like Mark software.
Baboons check out
and it's
bottoms.
not just one letter. It's like a word and a half I'm missing.
Baboons check out bottoms. In other words, baby has back. Birds have their love songs, and peacocks use their tails. But for baboons trying to attract a partner, it's the size and the shape of the potential mate's bottom is what counts. The swelling on the backsides of a female baboon are signs of their readiness to mate, and a guide for males of their reproductive potential and genetic quality. The bigger and the more predominant the rear end swellings, the more likely is the baboon will produce lots of healthy offspring. Larger swelling signals not only the female started the reproduction earlier, but also that she has high reproductive rate relative to other members of the group. Baboons are promiscuous and females have a large choice of partners, so sexual swellings are a way of luring males who are more than willing to fight off the competition.
Okay, there it is.
There you go.
Story number 1.
Yeah. Getting ready for taxes. Don't try these animal-related tax tricks.
Story number 2, hamster racing replaces horse racing in Great Britain.
All right, baby has back. Baboons like big backsides. There you go. Pick which one of these stories is false, a fabrication or a lie, and you can win prizes, prizes, and more prizes.
All right. Okay, Jamie.
At what point does a chimp screaming become an irritation?
You know the days where we wonder if it's the best fact or fiction ever? Not a problem today.
All right, hey, let's get online and check out our emails, Brian Donovan.
All right. Online.
.com.
Yeah, .com.
Oh.
Here we go. Dear Animal Talk.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Could you please tell me how I can combat a problem I've been having with my 3-year-old lurcher?
Okay, what's a lurcher?
Lurcher. Well, I know if this is from Great Britain, I know lurchers are sometimes that's like
I think it's a flashlight, isn't it?
no, it's a name for a I think a borzoi is also called a lurcher.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Good for you.
We needed a synonym for borzoi.
We've had her for about 6 months, and I hope she explains this in her email. I haven't read through it yet. We've had her for about 6 months. When she is with the family, she is very obedient and nice. She never causes any damage. And is now house-trained with a few accidents. However, when we leave her alone and go out, she seems very destructive. We thought she may be bored, and she is not a dog who... a dog. Okay, dog. She is a dog who likes toys. We got her a bone, and she hollowed out and filled it with cheese and occupied... Okay, long story short, this dog is getting into trouble when she gets home. Now, usually, this destructive behavior, especially with sighthounds, is more closely associated with stress than it is mischief. So I would make sure we put this dog in a confined area where she feels safe. So you want to put your lurcher in a kennel.
That's where I always put my lurcher.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a sighthound of some sort, if I remember correctly. But I would just I would use a cage for her to keep her safe and secure when you're gone.
There's a trivia question. What's a lurcher? You can call and tell us any answer because we're not sure. All right, what other email questions do we have today, Brian?
All right, here we go. Dear Animal Talk.
Congratulations, Skippy. You've got mail.
Is pine shaving for reptile tanks good or bad? The page is great.
I think they mean the web page.
The website.
All right.
Trying to make friends here.
All right. Pine shavings are not a good idea for almost any animal. The aromatic oils that are released from pine shavings have a negative effect or an irritating effect upon the soft tissue and membranes of eyes, nostrils.
Okay.
Pick up the phone and give us a call about that fact or fiction. We read 3 stories. One of them is false, a lie, a fabrication. Pick the lie, win a prize.
Also, our new segment, Pet a Pet Shop, where we where we profile the best pet shop in your area, the best pet supply store.
And you're the person who gets to vote on that. You decide by picking up the phone and give us a call. First story is...
Oh, I'm sorry. Getting ready for taxes. Don't try these animal-related tricks.
Story number 2, foot and mouth disease has led hamster racing into the spotlight, replacing horse racing as a source of betting for Londoners.
Baboon baby's got back. In other words, baboons like big butts. That's a sign of mating, so there you go.
Okay.
Which one of these stories is false?
Doctor, give me the news.
And now it's time for a health tip with our resident veterinarian, Dr. Brad Davis.
I just feel so dirty in here today. Well, there's a stray cat running around outside your house. You want to save the cat, maybe even make the cat your own. Avoid some of the mistakes people make when trying to domesticate a stray animal. First and always, make sure you don't get hurt. If a giant who's 20 times your size decided to catch you, even with the best intentions, you'd be scared. Injuries from animals can be extensive, painful, and debilitating. Use extreme caution.
That's how I got roped into doing the show.
Yeah.
Okay, all this time and I'm the straight man. Okay, when you have the animal, make sure he or she is healthy before bringing into your house. Don't expose your home to fleas or your other cats to feline leukemia or other intestinal parasites. Have a vet take a look before your other critters are affected. And before getting bad news that would crush your heart. If you can't catch the animal because of the danger or because you have other pets, get the animal to the shelter via a safe trap or by animal control. I know there's a limited prognosis in going to the shelters. Not everyone gets a home, but you will be helping stop untold numbers of unwanted animals in future generations from following the same fate. It's great to be a good Samaritan, but it's even better when you do it right.
Hey, Brian, what about catching feral dogs? Does anyone try to do that? You always hear about people, trying to catch feral cats and domesticate them. What about wild dogs?
People have tried to, and with some success, but it's a bad idea to try to catch the dogs. Usually, there's a good reason why they're feral dogs. In fact, I'm looking for the story now. There should be a name for the predicament that talk show hosts find themselves in when they bring all their information to the show. They have it in one pile, and they can't find it.
I think most shows call it a Donovan.
Oh, okay. Actually, this is a very sad story. This is out of St. Louis. We'll probably be talking about it upcoming here. A 10-year-old boy was killed by a pack of stray dogs in St. Louis as he was playing basketball across the street from his home. And there's more and more of this happening. In fact, police shooting stray dogs, the incidence of that occurring is way up in the last few years. Sure. And it's a bad idea. You have these Rottweilers and pit bulls and chow chows running loose. There's no good reason to try to catch a stray dog. Let the professionals do it.
And go one step further. If you're going to try to catch this stray dog, people always want to save the one they see. And so they're going to go out and try to save this dog, and they're going to put their family at risk or their pets at risk. For that, if you just want to save a dog's life, go save a dog that's at the Humane Society that needs a home, that's a good dog, that would be good, that deserves it.
That's been evaluated and checked.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm not saying that these dogs don't deserve a chance. Everybody does, but unfortunately, it's kind of like if 40 people try out for the basketball team. Well, guess what? 30 people are going to be disappointed.
That's me.
And then the point of the Humane Society is so many dogs are just going to get put down. So many good dogs are going to get put down while you're trying your best to save a dog that could be going to be nothing but headaches and going to give a negative connotation to kids and other animals.
And the other thing, and I hate to talk about it because people go nuts about it when they hear it, is incidence of rabies is up. There's been several news stories in the past couple weeks about rabies that they're finding it in a puppy a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
That was actually taken to a school and then taken to a kid's birthday party afterwards. It came down with rabies, and all these children that came into contact with this puppy had to go, of course, through the series of the shots. It was
wild.
It was horrible, but I mean that's a possibility.
Get your dogs and cats vaccinated.
Yeah, so the stray dogs, leave them alone and call somebody right away. Don't just leave it.
And people are very cavalier about the dogs. Oh, he won't bite me. He won't bite me. I'll tell you honestly, yeah, they will. And I'll swear to you, there'll be pictures of
Brad,
parts of my body on the website.
If you treat them right, Brad, they won't bite you.
They won't bite you.
Brian, now there's this boy that was attacked by a pack of stray dogs. He was out late at night, later in the evening, playing in a park, playing basketball by himself, and he didn't come back. And it was not till the next morning till his mother actually called him missing because he thought he went over to a friend's house to spend the night.
Oh, there's a lot going on in this story. Yeah,
wearing a steak necklace.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just sad. And this fourth grade child, the mother didn't know where the child was, but she just thought he was at a friend's house. She just assumed he spent the night. This is, I mean, there's a long drawn-out story here. In fact, the mother has been jailed because these stray dogs killed her child. Because reckless endangerment of the child, she didn't know where the kid was.
Not check until morning. And how old was he? Fourth grade?
Fourth grade.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing how many of the dog bite scenarios have a whole lot of backstory on
them.
It really is.
And these things, the first thing people want to do, in fact, there's new legislation in San Francisco because of the the coach, Whipple, the lady who was mauled to death by the Canario Island dogs. People want to start legislation. Does this speak more to legislation, or is this more to Darwin's theory? I mean, there is a lot of stupidity and neglect and things that are going on here that you're always going to have, no matter how many laws you have in place. As long as dogs are in homes, you're going to have stupid people who are going to have these dogs and put the dogs in and other people at risk.
Like 2 weeks ago now, we had in our area here the person who left the two pit bulls in the house alone with their 10-year-old
Yes.
and went out.
Yeah.
And they started scrapping, and then all of a sudden the child got between them. And it's not really the dog's fault. It's just it was the parents' fault. It's just one of those incredible things. But how do you legislate that other than neglect?
Yeah.
I mean.
Exactly. Brian, I got another question. What if you are one of these people that are out walking in a park on a warm night and you run across a pack of wild dogs? What should you do to not become a victim of those dogs?
Well, that's a good question with very few good answers. You don't want to draw attention to yourself or add energy to a prey drive of a dog. So in other words, if you see a dog or dogs that are in the vicinity, you don't want to run away. You want to walk slowly away, try to avoid the area, call somebody right away. If you're confronted, all bets are off. The best thing to do is try to keep the animals away from you by throwing sticks, yelling familiar reprimand words like no, get home, things like that. And even that, it's just a bad situation. Never turn your back on a dog that's, just figuratively speaking, that's loose. Always call somebody and get that dog taken care of. Call the police, call animal control, get them out of the neighborhood.
Sad story. Let's go to the phones right now. Hey, Bill, welcome to Animal Talk. What can we do for you?
Okay, I got two cats now. It's one Himalayan. She's 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Recently got another one. Was supposed to have been another Himalayan, but it turned out to be a Siamese, short-haired Siamese.
Okay.
It's a male. He's healthy, and taken to the vet and everything. Except he's a little aggressive. He likes to attack you, and he likes to attack by the face. He likes to bite, and it's all he wants to do is bite and claw all the time.
Okay.
What would make him do that?
He'll come up to you for no apparent reason and do this?
Well, when we first got him, he wasn't entirely winged,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd suck on your fingers. You know what I mean?
Oh, was he? Okay, so he was taken from his mom at a young age.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you don't give him that finger, he'll attack your face.
Yeah. Now, what we find this in dogs and cats, that if they're taken away too soon for whatever reason, that they tend to have real odd behaviors as far as what we call an inhibited bite, meaning not biting too hard, because they learn this from their litter mates when they're young. They learn that if they bite too hard or play too rough, they get in trouble. So your cat didn't learn this. So what you got to do, you have to treat this with aggression. So when the cat, I would keep some water bottles around, some squirt bottles, and or squirt guns. And when the cat attacks you, squirt them and make a hissing sound that tends to really set them straight, and they will run away from whatever's causing that. So if they associate it with that aggression, so your cat bites you and you squirt that water right at his face and just psst, make a sound like that, he'll usually run away if he's a normal cat. If it takes more than that, then you might want to. Geez, I don't know. What's a better correction, Brad?
Well, that's a good way to go, but there are alternatives. If you can't get the cat corrected in that way, there are medical things you can do as well. There's Valium is certainly used in the situation a lot. There are other drugs you can use as well that are less expensive than Valium. So that's not an answer you want to go to. You want to do it by training. But one thing I want to know, is this a neutered cat or no?
No, he ain't but 4 months old right now.
Yeah.
But he's like that big Himalayan. He's tearing hairballs out of her.
Yeah,
he's real aggressive.
Yeah, that's as far as the why, I would say it's because of that. Because we see that all the time in cats and dogs that are taken away too soon. Because there's a lot of developmental things that happen with young animals, and learning how to get along with one another is one of those things they learn.
And
so if they don't learn it, they're at a deficit for at least their first year.
And this problem, if you don't get this kitty neutered before he gets to sexual maturity, it's going to be like gasoline on the fire. So yeah, you're going to need to get
rougher when he gets bigger.
It's gonna we're gonna be we already have a little bit of a behavioral problem. Having hormones thrown into this mix is going to make it even worse for you. So yeah, I would definitely look into that. But you're going to have to. It's not going to cure the behavior, but it's going to go a long way toward helping you do the things you need to do to get the behavior corrected.
Yeah, because somebody told me that the Siamese are already aggressive kind of cat, you know.
Well, not really aggressive, but I'd say they're sort of mouthy, and they're very, very, they're very willing to stand up for themselves. But I wouldn't call them usually aggressive. But again,
he does it at odd times. That when you sleep at night, when he usually does, he'll attack your face.
Oh, jeez.
And that's a hard thing to do at night because you wake up. I would try locking him up to punish him, and we tried all different kind of They say a distemperament shot. Would that work?
Well, distemper is doesn't mean have anything to do with the temper. Distemper is actually the name of the disease that it's helping to prevent. So it's not, no, a distemper shot will not change the way the animal behaves.
Yeah, keep them out of that bedroom, too. When you're sleeping, you're right, you can't correct them effectively. So put them in a cage at night, not for punishment, but just to keep everybody safe, to keep your eyes safe.
Yeah.
Okay? All right.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, thanks for calling.
All right.
If somebody could combine sound with sight and put maybe a little screen on the radio,
I think they'd be onto something.
I think that'd be a great idea. That's what Mark's waiting for.
Wow. I like that
And
idea.
people can gather around the radio at home and actually watch it. It'll never work, Joanne says.
Fine. Brian Donovan, why don't you introduce our very special guest?
Well, it's every dog's worst nightmare. Sometimes you just have to go, even when you can't get out of the house to the nearest fire hydrant. Pharmacist John Johnston has the perfect prescription for this dilemma. Johnston's new Pooch pads are reusable protective mats that absorb and neutralize dog urine before it can leave its telltale odor in a house. John Johnston, welcome to Animal Talk.
Oh, there you go. John, now try it. There we go.
There we go.
How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Real good. There have been products along this line for quite a while. What makes Pooch pads different?
Well, the big difference with Pooch pads, a couple things. Number one, it's a reusable product, so it's very economical for a consumer to use. I think the second thing is it just really works. If you have a problem with an animal, whether it's an older incontinent dog or a puppy or just a home alone dog that's by himself and has to go, when you come back into your house, you don't want the added work of cleaning up the mess that the product you're using is supposed to do. And the Pooch pad just absorbs everything. It won't leak onto the floors. It stops all the odors of urine, so there's no smells. And you just throw it in the wash, and it just keeps on going.
Sometimes during the commercial breaks, they go pretty quickly, and Mark doesn't have the gumption to get up. Will these protect an office-style chair?
Hey, they'll work on anything.
Okay, well, there you go.
We're going to give that a try here in the next break.
Yeah.
Okay, what about damage? It looks like a pretty rugged material. Is there any risk of dogs tearing these things up?
Well, you can't guarantee against anything, but we actually introduced Pooch pads in 1995. And in that time, we have really had no instances of phone calls of people tearing or their dogs tearing them up.
It's made out of pretty durable. It looks like Kevlar. Are these bulletproof?
Yeah. Certain kinds of bullets, yes.
Yeah, I imagine. Okay, so where can people find Pooch pads?
Well, Pooch pads are available generally in PetSmarts and Petco's and a lot of independent mom-and-pop stores. We're available now in most of the major catalogs and what internet sites are left out there.
Well, I'll tell you what. At home, I tried one of these with our dog because with the not me and the dog at the same time. I used it with the dog because our dog still has accidents every now and then when we leave him for long periods of time. It absorbed just fine. You know what? The other thing we used it for is. Both of my kids were sick at the same time, and we had to protect the bed from all kinds of fun stuff, and these worked great for that as well.
Now, how do you clean it?
Well, it's just in the washing machine with some warm water, detergent, and into the dryer.
Really?
And that's really all there is to it. We actually started, talking about using them for kids. These were developed for the medical industry back in the early 90s. We have a company called Patient Guard Products. We were trying to address the needs of incontinent patients, not just from protecting beds, but actually from protecting their skin and helping to improve the quality of a patient's skin. And along the line, we had two incontinent dogs that it was a morning chore of cleaning up the papers, mopping up the floor, spraying the Lysol or the air freshener to try to get the smell out. And it kind of transcended from that. But
So these were made
originally a people type of a thing.
They were originally made for hospitals. Then
Exactly.
Were the people the least bit offended that it says Pooch pads all over it?
Well, I think we were clever enough not to put dogs on the people product.
I see.
Their whiteout bill was so expensive.
So the people pee pad worked. Is that?
That's it.
Well, hey, John, actually, a great product in general. Brian, do you recommend these in dog training? These kind of kind of products?
Sure. Well, we like to tell people we want to have as much control over the housebreaking process as possible. We teach folks to acclimate their puppy to a cage, a kennel area, so that the dog doesn't have free roam of the house where it can urinate and defecate all over. The cage is supposed to help the dog hold what it's got to do till you get back, but it doesn't always work. In fact, oftentimes it doesn't work.
Yeah, with my dog, no.
So something like this, where the dog can go and he doesn't have to lay in it and track it all through his cage, can help out a great deal in the housebreaking process. So yeah, something like this that works. Again, there have been products in the past that haven't worked too well, that were easily damaged, and of course it ends up kind of defeating the purpose.
Well, what we've done in lines with crate training, we came out with the original Pooch pads, as I said, back about 95. In the past year, we have come out with a line of crate and kennel pads that we size to fit most standard wire crates and kennels. Now, while we don't encourage an animal or entice them to urinate in their crate or kennel, the construction of the crate pad is that it is a Pooch pad on top. We use an orthopedic egg crate foam in the center of that, and then completely encase it in vinyl so urine cannot leak into that center core. And again, while we don't encourage or entice the animal to urinate in that crate or kennel, if they do have an accident while they're in there, it's absorbed into that Pooch pad layer.
Right.
It won't leak out, so there's no mess. But more importantly, it helps to protect the dog too and keep them dry as well. Again, while preventing any of the smells, so you never have that odor to come to whenever you come back in after there has been an accident.
Which we know can be an endless source of frustration for pet owners when they come home from a hard day at work only to find their puppy full of urine.
Well, really,
and they have to give them a bath every day. So
that's exactly right.
Well,
and the Pooch pad too, in line with that as far as training, it works very, very well if you're not crate training your animal. If as a lot of people still do, paper train. Using the Pooch pad, again, the great thing about it is you don't have that second mess to clean up.
Right.
And it's very versatile, whether it's for that puppy you're training or as it started with incontinent animals. And we just had a problem that they were both housebroken, but they just always couldn't wait till we were there to let them out. And then it kind of progressed to the point where they got a little bit more ill and would have accidents in their dog beds. They would have accidents in the vehicles, and we'd take them.
Hey, John, is there a number where people can call and get information about where they can find this?
Absolutely. It's a toll-free number. It's 888-POOCH-PAD or 888-766-2472.
Very good. We'll also have that up on our website at animaltalkradio.com so people can get that as well. John, thank you very much for being with us. We really do appreciate it. And keep picking up that pee all over the world for us, will you?
Okay, will do. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
3 stories. 1's a lie, 2 are true. Pick the lie, win a prize. First story is...
tax tricks that people used last year, including a St. Paul, Minnesota woman who listed her fish as dependents.
Story number 2.
Hamster race is replacing horse racing in Great Britain due to the foot and mouth disease.
Baboons say, hey, baby's got back. Male baboons love women with a woman baboon with a nice swelling on her behind.
Okay.
The better the swelling, the better the time.
Baboon.
The bad baboons and baby's got back.
Oh, my.
Is there a shower in here? Honest to God, I swear to you.
Baboon don't want none unless they got buns on. Yeah.
All right, why don't we go back and do some emails, Brian Donovan? Okay.
All right. No, this is called a pregnant pause. Okay, here we go. Dear Animal Talk.
Je hebt een nieuwe e-mail. Moet je wel even lezen. Moet je wel even lezen.
All right, my 5-year-old female boa hasn't eaten since November. Geez, I hope this was a recent email.
Yes.
Okay. She is 6 feet and appears very healthy. No weight loss. Still hydrates herself. Beautiful, shiny, rainbow iridescent skin, clear eyes, and somewhat active. The temp in the enclosure is approximately 90 to 100 degrees on one end and 70 to 80 on the other. Do you have any info as to why she is not eating?
I tell you what, why don't we answer that right after the break, because it sounds like it could be a parasitic problem. More than likely, you also need to check and make sure that there's no disease or any wounds to the mouth or to the face.
They can wait 3 minutes. They've been waiting since November.
There you go. Hey, the person who had that boa constrictor that long since November, the fact that the temperature has been up concerns me, but you may want to really increase the humidity and take the snake and get a vet check. If everything's fine, it's not unusual for a snake during the winter months to go into a semi-hibernation period and not to eat. The fact that the snake has not lost weight. Now, the question I have is lost weight by the way it looks or by scale?
Wait a minute, you're missing something here. This is a female boa, and she's not gaining weight. Maybe if she were to get married... Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Joanne, I'm just kidding.
Death and
I just had to
that's Brian at animaltalkradio.com.
Yeah.
Hey,
our voice is very similar. That was indeed Brian. Ouch.
Ooh.
Security.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve.
Levity,
Steve,
levity.
Would you have said that to your wife? Hey, Steve.
Hello?
Hey, Steve, would you have said that to your wife?
No, I wouldn't.
Do you think Brian's in trouble?
Might be.
Yeah. Huh? Okay, which one of the fact or fiction stories do you think is false? Do you think it's one?
The one with the hamsters.
The one with the hamsters?
Yes.
Oh, guess what?
That's false.
That's true.
Yeah, they've actually they've replaced. See, people in Great Britain bet on everything, and they actually are betting on hamster races.
Yeah, I guess it's on the internet. I guess like 3,000 people tune in for every race.
Yeah, it's insane.
The hard part's finding the little jockeys.
All right, hey, nice try, Steve. We appreciate
Thank
it. All right, let's go to Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl, welcome to Animal Talk. How you doing?
Well, just wonderful.
All right, which one of these stories do you think is false? Do you think it is the tax cheats?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you think it's the baby got back and baboons like big butts?
Well, I think it's the tax cheat.
You do? What makes you say that?
Well, because the baboons, I would believe that. I have seen baboons on Animal Planet.
And they're pigs, aren't they?
Well, I'm glad I'm not a baboon.
Every morning I say the same thing.
I'm just going to leave that rest of that alone, Cheryl. What kind of pets do you have?
Well, we have a kitty cat.
How about some Calamity brand catnip?
Hey, that'd be great.
Get your cat stoned for you. How's that?
One time my husband had aching muscles on his calf of his leg, and so we put icy hot on him.
Uh-huh.
That cat went nuts. Oh, just meow, meow.
Really?
You know, rubbing on his leg. Oh, it was hilarious.
So icy hots make cats hot.
Well, did that one.
Well, we'll put you on hold and send you their catnip to save your husband's leg.
Okay,
Thanks,
great.
Cheryl. Thank you very much for listening to us this week, and that's a perfect note to end the show on.
Honey, I accidentally spilled the icy hot in my lap. Honest.
Oh, you know what? Thanks a lot for listening, folks. I don't want to mention our name because they're... For Mark, Brian, Dr. Brad, the whole crew here, thank you very much for being here. Have an exotic week. You get your wild thing for me.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Think of the way.
It would take a miracle. Goodbye.